It's absolutely clear to me that we need a candidate with judgment and vision, a candidate who will renew the promise of America, not only here at home, but around the world. It won't surprise you to hear me say, I don't guess, I know who that candidate is. That candidate is Barack Obama. But ladies and gentlemen, it's equally clear who that candidate is not. It is not John McCain, a man who served our country with extraordinary heroism and courage. I know John, I've known him for a long time, and I know he profoundly wants to do the right thing by America. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm just as convinced that the policies that John would pursue as president would be wrong for America. I'm just as convinced that nowhere more so than our national security and our standing in the world would John McCain dig us in a deeper hole. Ladies and gentlemen, this week John McCain talked about the judgment required to be commander-in-chief. He's right. Nothing is more important than the judgment of the next commander-in-chief. But time and again, on the most critical national security issues of our time, John McCain's judgment has simply been wrong. Right after the terrorist attack on 9/11, John responded by urging that we consider not only attacking Afghanistan, but he included for consideration we should attack Iraq, Iran, or Syria. He said the only really difficult question is which country to pick to attack. That's what he said. Ladies and gentlemen, in the run-up to the war in Iraq, while Barack and I were saying that this was going to be a disaster if we did not do things fundamentally different than he was doing, John McCain insisted that, like Dick Cheney, that we would be greeted as liberators, that we didn't need a lot of troops, that victory was imminent. Then he said he wasn't worried about Afghanistan, that, quote, and this is a quote, we would muddle through. He then declared Afghanistan, quote, a remarkable success. Ladies and gentlemen, in John's judgment, there is nothing to talk about with Iran. He says there's nothing to talk about. And he has this idea that the way to deal with Russia is to try to isolate Russia, kick it out of the group of 8, the leading industrial nations in the world. And when it comes to homeland security, protecting us right here in our communities, in our ports, in our buildings, in our high skyscrapers, in our schools, in our offices, John has voted time and again against implementing the recommendations of the bipartisan 9/11 Commission. He voted against funding the cops and firefighters, our first responders, against interoperable communications gear for our first responders to be able to talk with one another in a moment of disaster or the moment of national security problems. He again and again has voted against more screening of cargo for going into planes and ships, against better security for our tunnels, our trains, our ports, our chemical plants. In John's judgment, that's 6 years into the war in Iraq, we should continue to spend $10 billion a month, while the Iraqis have a $79 billion surplus. And John McCain continues to insist, against all the evidence and all the facts, that Iraq is the central war on terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't understand that central war on terrorism is in the mountains between Afghanistan and Pakistan, where Al Qaeda resides, where bin Laden lives, where the people who actually attacked the United States of America are plotting more attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, on this, John McCain is more than wrong. He is dangerously wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about judgment. And on a question so basic, so fundamental, so critical to our national security, We cannot afford a commander-in-chief who is divorced from the reality and from America's most basic national interest. Ladies and gentlemen, at this moment in our history, when we need more than a great soldier, we need a wise leader. And that leader is Barack Obama. Time and again, Barack Obama has demonstrated the judgment that we need in our next president, the vision to see over the horizon. 7 years ago, Barack Obama opposed one of the most disastrous decisions in recent American foreign policy history: the diversion of our military might, our resources, and our focus from Afghanistan to a war of choice in Iraq. He was profoundly right. Now he's right again. Barack Obama will end this war in Iraq, and he'll end it in a responsible way. We will end this war.